I'm sitting with Allison Trimarco, and we've just completed the fundraising for board members workshop. And you had a lot of interesting things to say today, but one thing I was really intrigued by was this concept of the board needing to understand the revenue model for the organization before they even go out and fundraise. So will you explain first what you mean by the revenue model and what you meant by this preparation?
Sure. So a big part of governance is understanding where the money comes from and seeing if it's the right mix of money for the organization. So this is things like the most obvious question is there enough money? And enough is a relative term, right? Because we could all always use more, but is there enough money to carry out our mission in a way that we feel good about? That's really one of the fundamental responsibilities of boards, is to make sure that there's enough revenue available to carry out the mission. And underneath that, then I would start to put questions like, where is the money coming from? Is there a good mix of sources here so that we're not overly dependent on one revenue source versus another? A lot of times that information is presented to the board as a kind of fait accompli. You know, the fiscal year starts July 1st and the budget gets distributed June 29th if you're lucky, and there's not a lot of time to discuss it. But I actually think that governance discussion around the idea of where is our money coming from and is that the right thing for our organization is a stepping point for the board to be more involved in fundraising, because if they don't understand that, it's really difficult for them to figure out how they can plug into making the revenue come in if they don't really see the different sources that the organization is drawing on. So there's both that kind of governance responsibility where we ask ourselves, does the way we're bringing our money in make sense? And then there's the individual support part of fundraising, in which board members say, like, how can I contribute to making sure that we have enough money to carry out our mission? What can I personally do? I think those two things are linked. So if you don't do the first one, it's hard to get people to do the second one.